Luxor might be one of the most iconic hotels in Las Vegas, but iconic does not necessarily mean good. It's cheap, it's old, the reviews are all over the place, and you've probably had plenty of people tell you not to stay here. Well, today we're going to show you the rooms, the casinos, the pools, the restaurant, and everything else that this huge pyramid has to offer. And in the end, we'll let you know whether this is one of the best bargain hotels on the Strip or a place that you should avoid altogether. Now let's just go ahead and start off with the location. So you are on the south end of the Strip. So right on this side of you, you have Mandalay Bay. And then over on the other side, you have Excalibur. Now, if you happen to be coming for a sporting event or a concert, there is Allegiant Stadium that is right on the opposite side. However, if you are looking to be center Strip, that's a ways away, so this might not be a great place for you. Luxor has done what Excalibur did about a year ago. They put kiosks in their front desk area and basically took out all of their front desk staff. So now you're forced to check in through a kiosk. So I highly recommend that if you are booking direct, get the MGM app because you can just go online, do your online check-in, you can get the key on your phone and just bypass the front desk altogether. You're gonna have to check in with the computer anyway. On this trip, we stayed in a Tower Premier King room. Now, if you were curious to see what the pyramid rooms look like, don't worry, we got you. Later on in this video, we do have footage of the pyramid room as well. Now, these rooms come in at 450 square feet. I saw rates as cheap as $58 a night, and that's including the $45 resort fee. And these rates during the week can range from $58 up to about $120 or more. And then on the weekends, you can expect to pay about $150 to $250 a night, again, including the resort fee. Now, I will say that the rooms are actually in decent shape. These are all hand-me-down furniture items that came from another hotel, but they are still pretty decent. Now, doing the black light test, we did find that the bedding was immaculate. We didn't find any kind of stains on the sheets, the pillowcases, any of the bedding at all. Now, where it got a little bit dicey was checking out the flooring. The flooring was in pretty rough shape. So you can see here that you can see a lot of dust, but also there were a lot of stains that were inside of the carpet. It was actually kind of gross to just look at. And there was some dust around the room, but nothing too extravagant. But again, more stains on the carpet and a little nasty, actually. It was more kind of by the nightstand. So I'm just going to assume that people spilled their drinks, okay? That's what we're going with today. But actually, when we got to the end of the bed, there were more spilled drinks over here, too. Yeah, I don't know. Just kind of gross. Do with this information what you will. Anyway, heading over to the bathroom area. Now, the one thing I like about the tower rooms is that they actually have a bathtub. So you're not going to find that in the pyramid rooms. You have a separate shower and a separate bathtub. The bathroom does feel a little bit dated, I think, especially with the gold trim, even around the shower door and the shower fixtures. It just kind of makes it feel a little bit more dated. And by the way, there is no conditioner in here, only body wash and shampoo. So ladies, bring your own conditioner. The bath products that they do have in here are just okay. They're definitely usable, but I prefer to bring my own shampoo and conditioner anyway. All right, let's do the black light test to see if this place passes the muster here. So the sink was very clean. There were just a couple of dust spots. I don't think they were actually dirt. I think it was just from the towels. The bathtub was surprisingly very clean. After seeing some of the things in the bedroom, I wasn't sure. But overall, the bathroom actually gets an A for cleanliness. Now let's take a look at the toilet. Now, I think there were some spots on here, but it was more like the staining from the toilet. It wasn't actually dirt there. And then on here, you do see a few little specks, but I think it was actually just cleaner. Now, this is disgusting. This is gonna make you probably sick if you have asthma or something like that. They really need to clean those air vents a little bit better. There are definitely pros and cons to the pools here at Luxor. Now, first of all, there are a lot of pools and a large pool deck area. However, they are in the middle of remodeling. So they've done one section of pool. The other section is closed off, and it kind of looks like they are going to take away one of the pools over in that area. Now, the funny thing is, walking around and looking at the remodeled pool area, it doesn't look to me any different than the old pool looked. It's kind of like the same setup, and like they just kind of refreshed the pavement and the actual pool decking. But other than that, it looks the same. And the one thing that they didn't do is they didn't replace some of the lounge chairs. So there are like half of these new lounge chairs that kind of look a little nicer, but the other half are still really dirty and kind of yucky. So just be prepared for that. One of the pros of the pools here is that they are large. They are not going to fill up. You're not going to feel crowded inside of the pools because they do have a good sized pools here at Luxor. The biggest con to me about the pools here though is that there is no shade. So there aren't any trees or structures that are going to help provide some natural shade to you. And if you want umbrellas, you're gonna have to pay for it. You're gonna either have to rent a cabana or a daybed to get that. You do have food and drink available to you. There's a snack bar, there are a couple bars around here, and you do have QR codes at the chairs so you can just order food and drink to your chairs. We've been here so many times that I think we take this place for granted. When you walk in here, the front doors, you're gonna see all the way to the top of the pyramid. There are going to be Egyptian relics all around you. There's even a replica Titanic that's off to the side because they have a Titanic exhibit here. But when somebody walked in the front door, I saw him just look up and say, wow. It's actually still very impressive, and because we have been here so many times, we forget about that. A nice convenience that they have here are indoor walkways. So they have one from Luxor to Excalibur and then another from Luxor to Mandalay Bay. So it makes it really nice when it's super hot outside or even super cold to be indoors and just walk between hotels. But there's also a tram that takes you between the 3 hotels as well. I got my butt kicked on the craps machine. I love these stupid craps machines. But I did walk around the casino floor just to see what the table minimums were. And they had a lot of $10 blackjack tables. That was the table minimums everywhere. There was no $25, no $15. They were all 6-5 blackjack though. And they do have one table that was $5. Now there were a couple of roulette tables available. They were both $10 minimums, but they were all 000, so be aware of that. And there was only one craps table available. It was a $10 minimum, but it was a crapless crap table, so a little bit different, but some people like that. Anyway, I will say that the cocktail service has been really good. We've been kind of wandering around and we've been offered drinks several times. The only gripe I have about the Luxor and the cocktail service is that I like to drink Pellegrinos while I'm here, or Perrier's, whatever, just the bubbly water. And for some reason, if you are not platinum or above with their reward system, they won't give you Pellegrinos or Perrier's on the casino floor for free. You can get a beer, but you can't get a Pellegrino. So it's a little weird, especially because we are gold members, and so we do have to gamble a good chunk to get that gold status. So, you know, I guess it's just one of those things about Luxor. Let's talk about the restaurants that are here at Luxor. So Tender's Steakhouse is a place that I think a lot of people forget about, including us. But the people who have eaten here before all say it's underrated. You can get a great steak dinner for a decent price. And obviously a very classic kind of steakhouse ambiance here. And they do have a tasting menu that is quite reasonably priced. So $89 is not bad for a full steak dinner. Now, the Pyramid Cafe is one of our go-tos whenever we're staying at the Luxor. This is your typical breakfast diner. They're only open for breakfast and lunch, and we've eaten here so many times, and they do have great food. It is kind of Vegas-y price. You can expect to pay, $20 to $25 for a breakfast plate. Public House is kind of like your typical bar food. It's American food, but they have really funky hours. Now, speaking of hours, Backstage Deli is open 24 hours a day. They got great sandwiches. They have breakfast. They have about everything that you could want, especially late night munchies. You can get Blizz frozen yogurt. Diablo's Cantina is up on the second level. Great margaritas, some good Mexican food. We've eaten here quite a few times and had several other dishes. It's definitely not the best Mexican food on the Strip, but if you are looking to have some Mexican food, this is definitely a good option if you're staying here at the Luxor. Also up on the mezzanine levels where you're going to find the food court. So this is a very typical kind of food court. You have a chicken tenders, Nathan's hot dogs, Johnny Rockets, and there's also a pizza place. There is a Starbucks up here as well, but they kind of run funky hours, so they're not always open. There are 2 more Starbucks downstairs, by the way. But up here on the mezzanine level, you also have different exhibits like the Titanic, the Bodies, King Tut. It's also where you're going to find the showroom over here. The shows here include Fantasy, which is a striptease, Carrot Top, who you might know of, and Blue Man Group. So up here in the Atrium is where you're going to find the Atrium showroom. And also up in this Atrium area is where you're going to find Playground. Now that's exactly what you think. It's a playground, but it's for adults. So you can have a lot of fun in there and probably spend hours in that area. But anyway, just looking around the Atrium, it's kind of cool because you do see a lot of different relics, like the Egyptian relics, but then you also see some other funky things because of the exhibits that they have. Okay, I did promise a pyramid room, but one thing to note, you don't take a regular elevator. You have to take an inclinator to get up there because it's at an angle, so it's a little weird. So here is a Pyramid Premier King room. These come in at 420 square feet, so still a very decent size. These rooms are not much cheaper than the tower rooms. They start at $55 a night, including the resort fee. If you remember, it was $58 for the tower, so $3 cheaper. And honestly, like no matter what, you're going to pay probably about $5 to $10 more to stay in the tower room. So it's really just preference for you. And again, they're not in bad shape. These rooms are hand-me-down furniture, a little dusty, but not in bad shape at all as far as wear and tear. Now, we didn't get the black light on this room, unfortunately, because we had stayed here a while ago, so this is a little bit older footage. But as you can see, a different kind of setup here. I think the color scheme is different. Obviously, you're in a pyramid, so you have a window that's at an angle. But the one thing you don't have is you do not have the bathtub. The shower, though, has been remodeled pretty recently. It used to be one of those bathtub shower combinations, so they kind of just refreshed all this area. I don't feel like the bathroom looks modern or really fancy at all, but honestly, it's a very comfortable room. And here, I love this view with the rain coming down the pyramid side. There are definitely plenty of bars for you to choose from here at Luxor, starting off with the center bar because it is right in the middle of the action. And even though we were recording this during the day and it does look very slow, I can promise you that in the evening, especially on the weekends, it gets really busy with the DJ at the center bar. The Aurora bar is right off of the lobby and was remodeled not too long ago, and I think they did a good job. It looks really nice. Flight is just a nice little convenient bar. It's just right off of the casino near the tables, and it is kind of close to Public House and the HyperX Arena, which you'll see in just a minute. And finally, you have Play Bar. Now, this is right across from the sportsbook area. So if you're hanging out and watching sports, this is where you'll come and get your drinks, or this is where your cocktail service will get your drinks from. But I wanted to kind of show you the sportsbook area as well. I did mention HyperX Arena a minute ago, and this is it. So if you have a gamer in your life, you probably want to ship them off over here. Great if you have teenagers because they can come and play their video games. They have a lot more in the back to offer. This is just kind of the front area, but great for the gamer in your life. So I got to know from you guys, is this a place that you would stay, or is this a hard pass? Okay, let me give you my thoughts. Sometimes we just can't afford to stay at nicer places. Even with casino comps, some weekends are just ridiculously expensive. And I think that the Luxor is a good option. It's a budget hotel. It's reasonably priced. And sometimes on those weekends when they're super expensive, I can still get a comped room at the Luxor. So these are the things that I like to think about as long as there's a comfortable stay involved. Plenty of restaurants, easy access to other hotels. I think it's a decent place to stay if you're looking for a budget hotel. But I'd still love to hear from you, so let us know what you think, and we'll see you in Vegas.